while on one hand going down and losing 3 is not what you want, you understand that that can happen any given weekend. It comes down to a handful of plays. So what were the handful of plays that you want back? Is it the 3-run home run on Sunday? Is it just certain things in the field, certain at-bats that you just, you get a 2-out hit, but you're not able to bring them in, but they're on first anyway? What were some of those plays that you want back?
Yeah, I just think when we have opportunity to cash in the PAC, you have to cash in. We're going to give up home runs. We're in the PAC, but it's about giving up the solo versus the multi, home run. The 2, the 3. So managing counts. If you have opportunities to put the hitter away early, you need to put them away. If you allow them to hang around, then some things aren't going to go our way. The PAC is the toughest conference out there, and so you're going to have weekends that go your way, and then you're going to have weekends that don't. To me, it's how you respond to that weekend moving on to the next.
These guys, ASU is about as potent as it gets. I think they've 4 of the top 6 hitters, I think, in the league. They've got, I believe, leading the league in home runs, since that's what you talk about, putting hitters away. Mm-hmm. Even more emphasized this weekend just because they are possibly the most potent lineup in the league.
Yeah, for sure. It's about putting hitters away. When you get them down in counts, you need to put them away. You can't let them hang around.
In terms of last weekend, where Rachel said she was the only person who had multiple hits in a single game, is that optimism of consistent production across the board, or would you like more of the multiple hits in the single game where you find more like Rachel in game 3?
Yeah, we need her to have multiple hits and, throughout our lineup. I think just our lineup was, with the normal production that we get, I don't think we got last weekend, and I think you'll see that back this weekend.
In terms of 3 close contests but 3 losses last weekend, is there a level of optimism after that, or is it we didn't get it done, so we didn't get it done?
No, there's disappointment. We go into every single game expecting to win. We go into UCLA expecting to win. So there's disappointment when we don't get what we want, but I think also too, knowing that we don't get what we want, then what can we take away from that weekend that's going to allow us to do what we need to do this weekend and moving forward.
What did you see from Tara last weekend? First at the plate, we'll get to the catching part, but at the plate, what did you see from her in her first time back in like 6 weeks?
I like what I saw. I think it's just her getting more bats. She hasn't played all year, so it's just, I thought for her coming in, she took good cuts, she put some good pieces on the ball, squared some balls up, but she just needs to get more reps.
And catching-wise behind the plate, how do you think she managed with that?
Yeah, I thought she did well.
And the hand, for at least from your observation, no issues. That's about as good to hear.
Yeah, it's great. Great news.
Between her and Carissa and Pick, you're about, realizing, not looking past not having Brooke, that's pretty significant. But because she's out for the year, you are as healthy as you can be at this point.
We've got our full roster. Obviously we're missing Brooke. We've missed her all year, but we have our full roster. This will be our first series going into that we've had our full roster. So, the great thing is that we came into this year with depth. If we didn't have the depth, I think our win-loss record, I think things would look a lot different. So that just shows you how talented our lineup is, top to bottom, coming off the bench. And now to be able to have everybody fully on board, I think you're going to see a big difference for us.
Lineup-wise, you've definitely played the percentages more than others. There's some, there are coaches who just, the lineup 1 through 9 is 1 through 9. You definitely do much more, I think, lefty-righty and certain splits and certain things. You've always done it that way. How much because of that depth, and now that you have everybody healthy especially, it offers you to do that, where you had Tara at the top, and I'm guessing you're probably going to look to get her back there in some way going forward. So how do you try to integrate, now that you do have everybody healthy, the strategy that you've employed?
Yeah, we go into every series with strategy, but at times in the past, there's certain things that we want that maybe weren't available to us, where now everything is available to us. Coming off the bench, if we want a righty to come up, if we want a lefty, we have more opportunity with a full healthy lineup. So I think you'll continue to see what we've been doing all year. It's just with our entire roster versus one sitting out. In
terms of that DP position, especially, you've had Tara, Kai, Allison, Taya, all take hacks there last weekend. How do you attack that position in particular?
Yeah, I think it's matchups. We do our homework on the pitchers that we're going to face, and we want to figure out what's going to be the best matchups, just like I'm sure the opponent does with us, and that there's just a lot of different things that go into it. What I think is great is that we have different people to go to for different things.
For Arizona State, they had last weekend off. As a coach yourself, what type of advantage does it give for that extra week of scouting?
I don't know. Honestly, I think we go after it week by week the same way. I think every coach is different and what they feel like is best for their team. Last week we were on UCLA all the way. This week we've been preparing for ASU.
In terms of ASU, their starting rotation, 3 pitchers, all similar innings, all similar ERAs. They're just coming off a pitching staff that looks pretty similar from top to bottom in terms of their statistics as well. How do you attack a very balanced pitching rotation that they're going to throw out in the circle?
I think just coming in with our plans, trusting our plans, and again, when that opportunity arises, which it's going to show up, to take advantage of the opportunity.
What has Jazz meant now that she's back at this point for half a season, where she's obviously provided quite a bit in versatility and the infield to outfield, which I think a lot of people think that's way easier than it actually is.
Yeah.
So I know at shortstop, like, she does have the strong arm and all that stuff, but in range. But at the same time, a lot of people look at that and think it is just instant, and it's very much not. So what has she meant now that she's been back for at this point, like half a season?
A lot. I mean, like, what she's done on the field and just her versatility has been huge for us. Like, we need her to play it short, and she plays short. We need her to play in the outfield, she plays in the outfield. And she brings everything she's got every single day, whether it's coming to practice or in the game. I just think she's got a new leash on life. Her perspective is different than the others. And I think that perspective allows her to play really free. I think at times when she was younger and maybe something would get in her way, those same things don't.
Yeah.
Like playing softball to her it's great. Like she plays free.
Certainly not unheard of for a player to take a year off due to pregnancy in this game. I know Cherish had a child your first year, but at the same time she already had the son. So was there an Oklahoma player you'd coached who had to take a year off at any point earlier on in your career? Was this actually like a first for you?
It's my first.
Really? So in that way, then how, I figured you'd manage it before, I didn't know, 20 some odd years. How did you go about then that aspect of the actual management from a coach's perspective? Because you're trying to keep somebody engaged, motivated. There's COVID in the middle of everything.
Well, I would tell you that she's very motivated. I did not have to keep her engaged. Like, she was very clear on what she wanted in the journey that she was wanting to take and willing to do, what it took for it. I just think for me, maybe my motherly instincts just kind of got ahead of my coaching. Like, I put my coaching hat away and put my mom hat on.
Do you think your perspective on that would have been different in your coaching career before you had a son?
Say that again?
Do you think if you had a player who had to take a year off due to pregnancy before you had your son, so you're going like early assistant years,
sure.
like 12, 13 years ago?
Goodness, I mean, I can't say what I would do. I just know that to me, family is the most important thing. Softball is a sport that we play, we love, we go to college, we have the opportunity, but there are bigger things in life than softball. Yeah. And having a child is one of the best things that could ever happen. So I feel like I would be younger, but I probably feel like I'd still have the same.
Last thing for you, because we talked on Monday about the last weekend of the regular season. If not Nevada, is there a possibility of, if somebody's knocked out of a conference tournament, you getting them on a Saturday, Sunday for at least 2 games, or are you stuck looking at like D2 and D3 at that point?
We're still waiting. We're hoping that we're playing somebody. Like, we've been working on that for a while, so hopefully something's going to come.
Are you allowed to play somebody who gets knocked out of like the Big Sky or the Big West or something? By rule,
I don't think there'd be an issue. I mean, I don't know. So.
In terms of pitching rotation, McKenna, it seems like when she's gotten into trouble, it's been the first inning of her outings. When she's been back since that Utah series, how do you sort of counteract that and get her right for the full outing?
Yeah, it's, I think it's just continuing to go about what we're doing, just going about everything the same way that we normally do. I look at this team and where we were at in the beginning of the year, and now and then when we got to at the end of non-conference, and then where we are at now, it's all about growth. These guys continue to grow every time we step out on the field, and I think the same thing, with McKenna and things that she's done early in the season and where she is now. I'm excited to watch her throw this weekend. I think she's going to have a great weekend.
Where's the biggest opportunity for growth for your team moving forward for the rest of PAC play?
I think just continue to compete at a high level. Like, we don't need a couple athletes on our team to do it all. Like we have a lot of depth. We have a lot of players. Like all year, we've had different players that have come through it and had big moments. And for us just to continue to do that.
How do you string that together so everyone has big moments at the same time?
Yeah, that's a good question. I think every coach in the country would like to know that. So, no, I think it's just keeping good momentum, keeping a good positive vibe and understanding what we're wanting to do. I don't know. I think that's something that just comes more from them, I think, than anything else.